As we are out of Q1 and entering Q2, I did want to go and take a step back and look at what has happened across the country when it comes to Q1 now that we have that data in. So we've seen a lot of changes at the federal level, the provincial level, and municipal level that have really played a part to the market that we are in. So in Q1 2024, you can read with me, as Canada approached election season, the federal, provincial, and municipal governments enacted several key policies aimed at tackling the persistent issues with the housing market. These policies are designed to adjust market dynamics, improve housing affordability, and control speculative activities. So what were some of these things that came in? So we knew that the federal initiatives included extending the foreign buyer ban, adjusting caps on foreign student visas to moderate demand side pressures, and financial commitments were also made to enhance housing infrastructure and support rental housing construction. So the provincial government, for example, in BC, did that mass rezoning. Coming up here next month in June, all the cities need to fall in line with their land use policies. So depending on where you are at, size a lot, but most residential lots are going to be able to put up to 4 units on one property and up to 6 units when it comes to purpose-built rentals. We also know with the province, they improved the first-time home buyers incentive and now have stretched out the numbers for that. So now instead of dealing with a 500,000 purchase, it's gone up to 835,000 that you can now be exempt from the property transfer tax, which is a savings of $8,000. On the pre-sales, it's over $1.1 million. And then it goes even higher if you are purchasing something for purpose-built rentals. So they're doing a lot of zoning changes to help with people selling their residential units and essentially incentivizing developers to start building more purpose-built rentals. I'm here living in Vancouver. I see a lot more boutique style buildings going up that are strictly purpose-built rentals. So that should help. Well, I shouldn't say should help. Hopefully that's going to release some pressure for some people, but we are still in such a deficit when it comes to affordability and housing that we need a lot more of these projects coming online. We also know that coming up here in May on the provincial side of things here in BC, the short-term rental ban is going to come into effect. So unless you're in a municipality such as Whistler or communities under 5,000 people, all short-term rentals are going to have to be returned to the long-term rental pocket or taken off completely, or you're going to be liable to some big-time fines. The city of Vancouver also did a massive increase. This was a few months ago last year, increasing the short-term rental license from $100 and some odd to over $1,000, and they are committed with that surplus of being around $12 million a year to put into enforcement. So if you're trying to cheat the system, they are going to find you. I know that they have people working very hard on it. The fines, I think, start at $3,000 a day. If they fine you and you don't pay the fine, they can take you to the city prosecutor, and then that fine can turn into $10,000 a day. So they're not playing around. So if you have an Airbnb and you're trying to skirt around things, be very, very careful. When we dip into the pre-sale market to see the health of what's been going on and trying to get more product onto the streets across Canada, from January to March, there was 1,000 units that popped up, which was double from last year, which was only 500, but was still way behind the numbers of 3,300 that we saw in 2022. So builders, developers are also feeling the heat when it comes to projects. We know that interest rates are very high for us personally. When you're getting these construction loans, they're well into the double digits where we are at now. So that is why these higher rates, they start to have dissuade developers. They hold off on projects. And that's why we have seen the last couple of years, not a lot of movement. So we need these pre-sale projects moving. We need the cities and municipalities to be able to enhance the application process. We have artificial intelligence now. It shouldn't take weeks and months to get this paperwork through. We need these builders to build these units to get them onto the streets for everybody, whether it's purpose-built rentals or properties for sale. Over the course of the year and as we enter into Q2, it's going to be really interesting, and it's a little bit of a balancing act to see how these big changes on the federal level, the provincial level, and the municipal level are going to have here in BC and across Greater Vancouver. As all these cities settle into their new land use policies, what's it going to do to the market? Will developers have an appetite to buy bigger lots, to build these 4 units? Is it even going to make sense once we get the zoning bylaws for what it takes for these units? Are they going to have to build parkades So how is everything going to work with these municipal changes? What are developers going to do? We've seen similar changes happen across North America with not a lot of success. So depending what the municipalities state with their bylaws, it may not even be viable to put these properties up for sale to get 4 units on a residential lot. If it is viable, depending on what the cities decide with their zoning bylaws, then we're going to see an increase in price point. Detached properties are going to be very, very valuable if it makes sense for developers to either put in 6 units on a residential lot for purpose-built rentals. As I mentioned with the property transfer tax exemption, for small-time developers or even, a couple people who are wanting to pool their money and build some smaller purpose-built rentals and take advantage of some of these incentives, it will give people that opportunity. It's going to be really interesting to see what is going to happen, if it's going to be even viable for developers to want to move on these new land use changes. It's all going to come down to the zoning bylaws. We've seen stuff like this all across North America, California, and Minnesota and other states, and they've had similar land use changes. But to be able to put 4 units on a little city lot, they were requiring developers to put in a parkade underneath the project, which is just not financially feasible. So they did not have a lot of applications for this. But where are they going to put all these cars? It's going to be really interesting. The cities are packed with cars and not enough parking already. And now if you want to do all this densification, where is the infrastructure? But if it makes sense for developers, property values are going to shoot through the roof. We know that with the enhanced property transfer tax exemptions, even people who are wanting to pool money together and perhaps want to take advantage of some of these rental incentives as well to build these purpose-built rentals up to 6 on a residential property, maybe get some small town or small-time developers into the mix as well. But we will have an answer to that in June. What I foresee is the detached market to continue to catch up to the townhouse and condo market. And my recommendation for anyone, if you're looking to sell, for the most part, we are in seller market conditions almost across the board. I have more advanced analytical data. So if you're wanting home evaluation or more information about the city that you live in, book a call with me. It's in that description below. And I would love to help you with your real estate goals. And I do think it's still going to be a strong market, but I think a cautious market until we finally get the Bank of Canada to commit to a date when they are going to lower their rates. But in the meantime, I'm going to put my property tour videos up here, and you're going to want to check out other monthly market updates that are more specific to your area here. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Until the next one, you take care.